frustrating. I'm crying. I'm so frustrated. That was the biggest FU to this girl in the entire series. But to what end? Hi everyone, welcome back. If it's the first time, my name is Talia Adewale and this is DISBYDEM. We are going to be talking about Moon Lovers, Scarlet Heart Rio, which is a 2016 Korean historical fantasy drama that blends time travel, powers, politics, and a tragic romance. God, you know what? I'm already in a haze. Just starting this. I watched this like a month ago. I think I finished it a month ago, and I've been so enraged, guys, enraged. And for my OGs, a new crew who have been seeing a lot of my videos lately, you know what I'm talking about when I say red mist, just haze of anger when I think about this. But before we dive into it, be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your comments, please engage. I know this is a fan favorite, so it has its own cult following, and for the most part I enjoyed it, but what a letdown for me, those last episodes. Anywho, and share the video. Make sure to also hit the notification bell so you know when I'm posting videos, and let's dive into it. So, like I said, red mist of haze whenever I think about this series, because I just like I said, I watched it a month ago. I think it should be about a month now by the time this video comes out, and I just get pissed off every single time I think about it. So it was a 20 episode. This was back in 2016. South Korean TV series back then were usually 20. It's just now that they are really having grace on us and doing 16 and 12. When I saw 10, I was singing to the roof. I was like, is this Korea? No way, no how. You know, it was a 20 episode. It is historical romance. So, you know, it's all of the things that are not like particularly my favorite about Korean drama series, all wrapped up in one. And I didn't know anything about it. I had avoided a lot of stuff about it, did not want to check nothing about this since it was recommended to me. But I took a shot. And if you don't know, a lot of series, I do a lot of reactions to series on Patreon. I do reality TV on YouTube. So if you're interested in watching reactions to series, be sure to check out my Patreon. The link will be in the description. There's a ton of stuff, and all episode 1s are free. So you can decide if you want to continue watching the series or not. So be sure to check that out if you have a minute. So yeah, all the series are on there, and I was like, you know, I'm going to take a shot at it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to react to 20 episodes. God help me. We're doing it together. It's you, me, it's us, you know. And I started it, and fell in love. Episode 1, I was in love. First of all, IU is phenomenal. I don't even understand how the girl looked the same as she is today, because she's the chick in When Life Gives You Tangerines, isn't she? And she looks the exact same, and I was like, oh my goodness. Beautiful. The entire cast was gorgeous. The entire cast was beautiful. So acting, knocked it out of the park. First episode, fell in love, and then we continued and continued. By episode 10, I was like, this is really good. I'm loving it. By episode 12, I'm like, where are they going? Episode 15, I was like, no, I don't like where this is going. This is going to be unresolved. A lot of things are unresolved, and a lot of things that are happening make no sense. And by episode 20, I was seething. I was vibrating. I was so mad. Oh my God. So it is a 20 episode. They said there's 2 episodes special. I have searched high and wide. I did not find those specials. If you're a fan and you know where these specials are, please leave a link in the comments, because I'm very interested to see if they resolve a ton of my questions in these specials that cannot be found anywhere. The plot follows Hajin. You guys know me with names. A 21st century woman who is transported back in time during a solar eclipse. She wakes up in Goryeo Dynasty in the body of Heiso, a noble lady. They said she was noble, but there's one point that they were treating her like a cleaner. So I was confused, but it wasn't that big a deal. As she becomes entangled with the royal princes of the Wang family, particularly the enigmatic and scarred fourth prince, Wang So, Heiso must navigate deadly court intrigue, shifting loyalties and heartbreaking romances. I say romances because the heart was broken multiple times, guys. Her modern sensibilities clash with the brutal realities of ancient politics, and her presence starts to shift the course of history. But to what end? I'm sorry. You know what? Why am I even apologizing? No, it's my channel. It's my review. If you're a fan, please don't be offended. I mean, do what you want. I don't really fucking care. Don't be offended. This was how I felt watching this entire thing. Because I felt so in love. And as the series progressed, I was like, what the actual hell are we doing here? What is happening? What is going on? Are we landing? What was the point? What was the point? What was the point? Because the amount of suffering this girl went through, the suffering was too much for the way this thing ended. And is it not based on a Chinese story? Is it? I think it is. I think the original story is Chinese. Clock me in the comments if I'm wrong, guys. But I feel like that's what people were saying, that the Chinese one was better. And obviously, the Chinese one is more episodes than the Korean one. So why... I feel like this is it. I watched so much that I might be mixing things up, but clock me in the comments if I'm wrong. The lead cast, Lee Jong-ji was Prince Wang So, the fourth prince. Absolutely fantastic, handsome, dynamic, ruthless when he needed to be, kind when he needed to be. I love this guy. He was fierce, he was misunderstood, and he was called the Wolf Prince because of his scar. You know what? Another thing. First of all, why she went back in time, I don't understand. Can these people travel to the future? Is there no thing there? Because for a 21st century woman to go back to the Goryeo dynasty, for sure there will be clashes, for sure there will be misunderstanding. If anybody wants to time travel me, universe, please take me to the future. I do not want to go back and start lighting candles and lanterns. Please, I've lived that life. I don't want to do it again. Do you understand? What? I'm sorry, I'm going off topic. Next was IU, Lee Ji-yoon, who plays Hajin and Hae-so. So she was a cosmetic saleswoman back in the 21st century, in 2016, who became Hae-so in the Goryeo dynasty. Kang Han-woo as Won-wook. I liked him until I didn't. And immediately the whole thing started happening. I knew that in the end I wouldn't like him as much, because I knew where that character was going to. His love was the kind of love that if it wasn't reciprocated, it was tainted. I already knew that from the beginning, just with the way things played out. But I think that he did fantastic. I'd never seen him in anything. I think the first thing I'd seen this guy in was Squid Game, the recent one. And as soon as I recognized him there, I was like, oh my god. And then when this played out, I was like, I need to watch him in a romance story where it's just him and it's not tainted, because this was full-on tainted love, guys. Won-wook was, I knew that when he flipped that switch, just like in the Vampire Diaries, he would be ruthless. I knew it. I was expecting it, and when it happened, I was like, yeah, that's right. That is exactly what I was expecting to happen, and the way it happened. We have other characters who add to the story. A lot of the actors were fantastic. All the princes did very well. I hated Pick Me. I think he was 13. The one that followed the third prince like a fly. Yeah, he was my least favorite, but everybody was handsome. Everybody was a good actor. And for the most part, I enjoyed it. Like I said, I enjoyed it right up to episode 15. And I was like, what are we doing here? So 15 kind of took like a dive. Almost like they didn't understand how to wrap up the story, what to do. When people started dying left, right, and center, I was like, okay, I understand death when it adds to the major plot of the story. You understand? When the king died, I was honestly, not words that I usually say, but I was glad. I was extremely happy because I was waiting for him to die, because the king really didn't do anything for me. Let's just talk about the key themes right now. So key themes of this was time travel and the destiny, which I don't understand the destiny part, because the end, we'll talk about it. Power, betrayal, and succession, that was very, very heavy. That was heavily focused on throughout the whole thing. It's Goryeo dynasty. That's all they know at that point in time. Unrequited love and tragic romance. God. Identity and transformation. Identity crisis for sure. And then fate versus free will. Because in the end, can you even call it free will? Did she have free will? I don't think so, because her life was for the court. In the end, her life was literally for the court, and it still didn't end well. That's what I kept screaming. What What's the point? And I understand that it's popular because it's star-studded. You know, you had K-pop idols and A-list actors in it. It was visually stunning. They did a very good job with cinematography, costumes, the soundtrack. They did a very, very good job. The emotional roller coasters, really good. They took you on high highs and brought you down to low lows. I get that. But if the story does not end in a practical or, you know, even just normal way, what is the point? And this is what pissed me off about the whole thing. And I get that. I think the Korean reception of this was less than the international reception. Obviously, it gained cult following massive due to its massive international fandom. But what are we fanning dumbing? What? Do people not appreciate good stories anymore? Do people not appreciate? You see how the best example of one of these things that I can talk about is the King, Eternal Monarch. The ending was not my favorite, but was it the most practical ending? I didn't see how it could have ended any other way than the way it ended, even though it wasn't my favorite. That is what I'm talking about. Maybe it's not all hearts and roses, you know, unicorn farts and tears or sprinkles. Sorry. But at least we know that, yes, this is the best case scenario for an ending that we can expect. This was not that. The ending made no sense. It really just made no sense considering the amount of suffering that this girl had to go throughout this entire series. I was pissed mad. I was in God. I'm so enraged thinking about it. Let's itemize this suffering for those of you who haven't seen this and were probably thinking about watching it. Quite frankly, I would say don't waste your time. Not because it's a bad series, but because you will be pissed off after watching 20 episodes and this is what they gave you as the finale. But let's itemize that the suffering. I put it in bullet points here so that you guys, you know, can follow along for me. So you have the time travel to the Goryeo dynasty. First of all, she's being warped from 2016 back to an AD period, you know, where things are completely turned upside down. Identity crisis. Accepting that she has literally taken the life of this girl. The girl was going to die anyways. And she just, you know, slid in there like no man's business, right? So there's that identity crisis for her going from Heijin to Heiso. Is her name Heijin? I don't know. You guys know what I mean. Then the constant fear. Realizing what it is that's happening in the palace and being under constant fear of the palace rules. Being dominated by that princess. Oh, that princess was diabolical. I like the character. I hate the character. It's a love to hate and a hate to love situation going on with me and her. I think she was diabolical. I think she was smart, but I just didn't like her. Oh, God. Then constant, the love and heartbreak between her and the 8th prince, Wang Wook. There was that because he was married to her cousin. They're falling in love. The cousin's sick. Cousin dies. God, it's just a lot. Betrayal by Wang Wook due to his ambition. That was the first heartbreak. Wrongfully accused and her public punishment, her imprisonment and her torture, physical torture. They broke this girl's leg. She was never able to walk the same again. So it's at this point, guys, that I started asking, what is the fucking point? I'm sorry, I tried. I did some. Did I cry earlier? I don't know. I tried. I did. But what was the point? Why did she go? Yes, I get it that things weren't great in 2016. But at least she could fend for herself. She had her mother. She had her family. Yeah, her boyfriend was a no good, cheating son of a bitch. Son of a beatrice, sorry. But at least she had a life there. Nobody was torturing her. Yeah, a few people beat her up because they thought that she'd swindled them. But it happened to be her roommate that had done something. They really didn't go into that story in depth, which was another thing that pissed me off. But at least she had a life. Nobody was breaking her leg and torturing her and what's it called? Threatening to hang her in public. Let's keep going. The death of Lady O, her mentor, who took her place. So instead of her getting hung, Lady O took it. That one hurt me. That was the one time in the entire series where I was actually crying because I really like Lady O. And this woman warned her multiple times. This woman warned her. The way you are going, you will die. Did she listen? No. And she ended up dying. I mean, she was tired too. The emotional trauma from Lady O's execution, public execution. The initial fear and distrust of our 4th prince. Wang So. Emotional conflict during the growing relationship with Wang So. Oh my god, the death of her loved ones, including Prince Yoon and his wife. That was the second one that hurt me. Not Prince Yoon, he was fine. But the wife, that girl, I loved her. I loved her from the beginning. She came on the scene with her quirky dad. I loved her. And when she died, it broke me again. I can appreciate the emotional roller coaster they're putting me through. This is nothing compared to what I had to go through watching Grey's Anatomy. And if you know Shondaland, you know, right? So I really appreciated it. I get it. I was like, okay, maybe there's a reason why she has to die. They have to die. You know, the prince. I still didn't understand it. But I was like, maybe they'll tie it all together. If the death means something in the grand scheme of things, I will accept it. Let's keep on going. The betrayal of her former allies in the palace. Everybody was betraying everybody. Political manipulation and various court figures. Everybody had it in for somebody. Because by this time, Wang So was the king now. But they were just in print. Oh my god. There's one time they almost married her to the king too. She had to scar herself. And now because she's scarred, she can't marry the man that she loves who is currently king. Oh my god. Exile from the palace while pregnant. My god. Giving birth alone. I get that she had this other prince, but that was not who she was in love with. Away from Wang So. Living in emotional isolation throughout this whole period. Dying young. Without reunion. I think she died when she was like 25 or something like that. Or maybe even 22. Because I think when she went back, she was 16. Yeah, I think 22. And this was like a 6-year time period altogether. If I remember correctly. Oh my god, regret and longing in her final moments. Because Wang So never came to see her because he was angry because he thought that she was happy in her new marriage. Oh my god. And then coming back to her modern life with her memories intact. That was the biggest FU to this girl in the entire series. The fact that they sent her back to 2016 and she remembered her entire life, remembered the loneliness, remembered all the suffering, all the torture, and then she remembered living the love of her life alone back in that dynasty. What was the flipping point? I'm sorry, this is a rant. I'm sorry that I said that it was a review. I'm sorry that the title says review. The title will probably have to say rant. Because what was the point? She then realized that her past life was real, and she breaks down seeing his portrait, knowing fully well that they will never be reunited. What was the point? You jerked me off for the entire time and you didn't even let me finish. I'm sorry. I apologize, but God, so frustrating. I'm crying. I'm so frustrated. No. Honestly, my biggest takeaway from this entire rant review is the fact that I would recommend that you not see this. Watch a spoiler review or watch like Cliff Notes. There are people that put together things on YouTube. Watch that and be done with it, because in the end, it wasn't worth it for me. It was such an amazing series with such a huge letdown at the very end. And that, I think, is what pissed me off. Because I tell you, from episode 1, I fell in love. I really did. I fell in love with all the characters, even the ones that I didn't like. I really did like them, and the character growth for them as the series went on. And then everything just kind of went downhill after that. In the end, at the end of my rant, guys, I really can. In all honesty, I will not recommend that you watch it. Or how do I do it? Because the first 15 episodes were fantastic, and that's what pains me. How can I write it off for the last 5 episodes just because of how it ended? I don't know. I guess maybe viewer beware. I don't know. You watch it. You're grown as human being. You do whatever the hell you want to do, right? But I'm just saying that those 5 episodes were a huge letdown for me, and it kind of like tainted the entire experience. But yeah, that is it. I've ranted, and hopefully this mist can dissipate, because it's really annoying me, because I'll be watching other things and I'll just remember, and I'll get so pissed off and start lashing out at other people and other characters that I'm watching in other shows. But all in all, it is what it is. If I had to rate it, I would give it like an 8 out of 10, because again, cinematography, the actors, their chemistry, fantastic. Soundtrack, absolutely amazing. It's the story of and how they ended it. That was what let me down in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, Hopefully this rant review was enough for somebody. Let me know your comments, guys. Please let me know, because I know this has a call for. I know a lot of people like this. I don't know if this was recommended to me because somebody didn't feel sure about it, or they loved it. I'm not really sure. Either way, I appreciate the recommendations, because like I said, first 15 fantastic, but that, especially the last 5 episodes, I just didn't know where things were going and I didn't like it. Anywho, sure to leave those comments, like the video, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell so you know when I post new videos, and I'll see you in the next one.